We got 2 for Cobra.
Okay. This is hand number 7.
Oh,
We got 0 for Elton, by the way.
This is a fun one, though, where only 3 people have squid so far, and we're on the 7th hand.
Yeah, you're right.
Could be a lot of payouts.
The more consolidated the squids are into fewer players,
the more
more
money
spicy.
changes hands. You get to the end with 10, the less players that have them, the more people are paying.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. So, the straddled pot, courtesy of Tan, who's got ace-jack.
The squid rich have hands right now, and this 3-bet's coming, or 4-bet, I guess.
Yeah.
And, ooh, it's big, too. That might be too big for Cobra to peel.
65,000.
Is he going to put in another 50K? Yes, he is.
Well, he's going to get to play this one in position and hunt a 3rd squid of his own, not to mention deny Tan a 3rd. Not that that's a concern for him as a holder of 2.
Oh, what a flop for 5-7 of diamonds.
Pair and a flush draw. And I don't know if this is a size that ushers floats on out of there. 45,000. Without hesitation, of course, Rui makes the call. Not a given, by the way, that he gets to showdown unimproved if Tan decides to go hard at this one. 4 on the turn.
It's not really a card Roy loved seeing. Obviously better than like an offsuit ace or something, or a king or something like that, but it's mostly kind of like, okay, what does my opponent have? What's his range? Is it wider because of the squid? Yada yada. And Tan's going to keep barreling, and Roy just has way too much hand to fold, and I don't.
Worthy of note, by the way, Ras, something that you reminded us of earlier, given how deep these guys are. 600K is the maximum commitment that can be made by either party in total into the pot. That's the cap.
Yeah. And not a spot where blocking a 5 matters that much. Tan with the cold 4.
Yeah, he's repping the overpairs.
Yeah, it doesn't really have like a 5's full or so.
Yeah, this feels like ace-queen plus as far as representation.
Yeah.
Especially given we block diamonds. And
Ooh.
now the king on the end. Could this open the door for Tan to find barrel number 3 into this 442,000 and bluff Rui off of his unimproved single pair of 5s? If Tan wants to unload. And it does feel like an opportunity potentially to put even something as strong as Queen X into the blender.
Oh, sure.
Yeah. So, 600. First time. And you see Rui lamenting things instantly, saying,
So he's betting.
this guy runs so good.
Did you calculate it? It's 2.
Yeah. He's betting 382,000.
Yeah, okay.
That's the technical cap.
382, so it's about the pot.
Sub 1, though. There was 440 something
Yeah, a
in
little less than the pot. Feels like certainly any king or better. Unclear ace queen.
Yeah, and Rui doesn't chew on it very long. Winner binned. And ladies and gentlemen, we give you the fearless Wonder Kid, Tan Xuan.
Coin Poker presents Battle of Malta. $30 million guaranteed with 100 Malta packages up for grabs. Join now on coinpoker.com.
Maybe he's wondering why the 8K came out of ace-8 on the turn.
Tan's going to have pairs a bunch more. I don't know. It seems like kind of sort of weird, but reasonable play at the end of the day. I mean, also one thing to remember is the bet's just so small.
Yeah.
Right? So even though it's not really designed to get better to fold, it does put worse hands in tough spots and does get hands with equity to fold. And you're just not risking that much. And after the razor checks back the flop, I mean, I'm sure, you know, from a range perspective, like he's doing better. The razor doesn't have a ton of overpairs, and you have a bunch more like 4, 6, and 9x than your opponent does. So
Sure.
It seems like a pretty reasonable play, kind of.
King 9 suited for ST Wang. Responsible for the open. 10-9 suited from Rui Cao. Brings the 3-bet to 35,000. Look at, uh-oh. Tan has Jack 3 suited here, Rast.
Yeah, this is...
This is a raise to
stepping out.
130,000 with dust.
And again, Roy Cow is not really the guy who likes folding pre-flop, so we could see over $250,000, a 300K pot here between Jack and 10 high.
SD caught in the crossfire, perhaps getting the sense that Rui and Tan are going hard at each other. And there is Rui, speculating away. 281,000 in the middle. Do not adjust your screen. We've got Tan's cards right, and he's got the best hand on an 8-4-3 board with bottom pair.
Yeah, pretty bad board for Roy Cow. He does have backdoor potential, but basically impossible for him to have the best hand right now. I mean, not close to impossible. You know, we need Tan to have like 7 or 6 high suited, which Tan is capable of having, but it's just not very likely. Yeah, versus a sizable bet here, it's going to be... I mean, Roy's got the back doors, but they're not really that deep anymore. But he's coming.
115,000 ahead, pot up to over $500,000.
This hand is just wild and irresponsible and fun.
King on the turn doesn't interact with either holding. But if we're Tan, you know, we've made this mess. Yeah. How are we going to clean it up?
Tan has the tricky situation that if I keep betting, maybe I don't really get better to fold very often, but worse does, you know. But like if I check and my opponent has worse, will he bluff me out? You know, what am I going to do? It's a really tricky spot.
It doesn't make it look very tricky, does he? The declaration of 300,000.
He's just going with it. That's what he decided. I'm just going with it. It's a great question.
Probably not.
I don't know.
I actually don't think it's that great a question.
Aces, just in another hand. And here he is raising the limp. I don't know with the oxtail.
I'm
back.
betting the don't.
On the grow back. You just get one tail for life. That's it. You lose it.
But maybe, you know, like we don't have to do the ox in. We just, maybe it doesn't need a tail. We snack on the tail and then leave the ox alone after that. And that's kind of like mutilation, which is what
kind of have a feeling that they're getting the tail off when they get the rest of the meat out of all the other parts, you know? It's kind of like...
That's good eats, probably. And this is a good flop. A pair and a flush draw for Rui Cow. As he's looking to plow through Tan's black aces, and he's got the right sort of kit with which to potentially do so here.
It's only about half pot. So Roy needs to decide, does he raise? He is coming raise.
Yep. We're going to play this one fast, says Cobra Cow. 43,000. It was from up front that he did so. He called the extra 8,000.
No, only, yeah, 8.
When Tan made it 9 pre, and here he is all of a sudden activating. Check raising 11 up to 43. Tan chewed hard on this spot.
Tan
and chose the 3-bet to $155.
It's one of the things that makes Tan really tough to play against. I think if you're Roy here, you just want to push your equity on the flop once you play it this way. Like, you're kind of ahead of any other diamond draw, really, because you have the pair. And, yeah. It's like once you check raise with Roy, once you get re-raised, you're just going for it. And this is like part of the danger playing aces this way, but it is what it is. Once you 3-bet to 155, the other 450 is going in.
Not quite yet, but tend to agree.
发几次？
开牌嘛。
你先说发几次？
是
发2次吧，搞大了。
啊，
好不好？2次。
哎，一次过了，一次过了。
So the call got made. It is 600,000 maximum per player. So disregard what looks like all of a sudden they've got more than that into the middle here, with Tan being the covering stack. This pot will be capped at 1.2 million.
Good time, no pain. No pain, no gain.
Play 6。
Or are they just going once?
Okay, nice.
They sure are.
黑桃六 ，yes。
Tan
搞我，来呀来呀来呀来呀来呀！
finally holds.
Good recall, because that tweet just sums up what we're all thinking right now.
And the thing is, Rast, as we see fours opening for Rui, who's a bit of a wounded duck right now after that altercation with Tan, and is going to be facing noise out of Elton's jacks momentarily. I often get asked by people who are viewers, members of our audience typically, is it real money? Are they really playing with their own money? I get that a lot. And as difficult as it may be to reconcile for someone, yes, it's real money, and yes, they are playing with their own.
35, right?
And Tan Xuan, an absolute legend of the game, not involved in this one. Rui, however, enters the arena once more and doesn't find any help on an ace-ace 3 board. 4 hearts working. See how Elton chooses to approach the matter. Not going to let off the gas here.
是不是昨天的奖杯太重了？
20K a man brings us to a 10 of hearts turn. Now Rui with the only flush draw. And of course when we get check called here, there are some concerns about flush draws and ace-x, Rast.
Yeah, it's, you know, the run out is starting to approach moments where Jax is not that comfortable anymore.
Hence the check back from Elton. Now a king on the river.
Yeah, even the river is not the most comfortable card for Elton.
And so you see 2/3 pot.
Turns his hand into a bluff.
Yeah.
Which makes a lot of sense given how this played, because he called a 3-bet, called a flop bet, and by the river, 4s is, I mean, kind of like one of the worst hands that Roy can have. Now, Roy's a player who could probably find more bad hands here than your average cat.
Sure.
But still, 4s, even for Roy, is like towards the bottom, and especially with a heart, like a reasonable one to turn into a bluff. Like, he'd like to get any bigger pocket pair, such as jacks, 9s, whatever, to fold.
You win.
Elton sniffs it out. As Rui says, you win, and that is a bit of a statement call from Tsang on yesterday, but nevertheless.
Now we can see that Tan is waiting in the straddle with a pretty good hand.
Pocket 10s. Malinowski the opener with the ace-2 suited. Rui 8-6 suited coming along, as does Andy with offsuit queen jack. ST grabs his miner's hat. Multi-way pot taking shape. Let's see whether or not Tan wants to call the herd.
Yeah, I think squeezing would be very reasonable here, but not mandatory.
64,000, the number drawn up, and I don't think, well, I stand corrected.
Listen, Rui's in position with a suited 1-gapper. He's got the button, and you can feel pretty confident that Andy and ST aren't back raising that just because they would have 3-bet themselves with good hands
Sure.
after raising a couple calls to them in the blinds. So Roy, they're going to gamble.
That they are, and it's a gut shot straight draw on bottom pair against top set. Backdoor diamonds as well for Rui, 160,000 in the middle.
This is an explosive flop for these two hands. Now, obviously, Tan has a much better, hand. That said, when you call a 3-bet, your head's up in position with 8-6 of diamonds, and you catch 10-9-6 with a diamond. You're thinking like, hey, my hand's got tons of equity versus jacks plus, right? I'm ahead of ace high, king high, So like, this, unfortunately for him, he's actually against the set, which isn't very likely here. But like, Roy's kind of loving this spot. Like, Roy's ready to put in a lot of money, over the course of this hand. And we already have 160K in the pot with a 950K left. So
$54,000 fuse lighter here from Tan.
like, Roy could be thinking about just raising this on the flop. Not saying he will. Probably calls, but I could see a raise. Okay, yeah, but here we go. Now we're up to 268K. What about a brick? Oh.
8s and 6s as the 4-liner rolls off after Rui peels. 268 in the middle, and while this board texture is a little bit pesky, queen jacks, 7x's could have us in trouble. We have a set and we're never drawing dead.
Tan could
though.
check this. Right now, like, listen, he has a good hand, but this flop and now turn are pretty bad for his range. He's going to have a lot of like ace king, aces kings that don't want to bet. I can really get behind this check, and Roy has to think he has the best hand here the vast majority of the time. Like, what hands 3-bet that are beating him? Like, maybe 10s, maybe 9s, queen jack suited. Okay, like, what else? Ace 7 suited? Maybe that probably doesn't 3-bet 5 players, right? So there really just aren't that many hands that 2 pairs losing to at this point that Tan has. Oh, and Tan's laying the bear trap. He really wants a low brick.
Check calls, and an ace doesn't rate to be of consequence as played to the set of 10s. So it sort of just becomes, did Rui hop in there with something that has made a straight, or is my set good?
So the ace affects things in terms of if Tan has like ace 10, which he may or may not have 3-bet the field with, and definitely aces. Or maybe a hand like ace x of hearts and now can call. I think Roy's going to value bet his hand here.
Well, the thing is, it's a little bit mergy, isn't it? Because a big enough bet, as we see him shut it down.
Wow.
I was going to say a big enough bet, and all of a sudden, maybe you get better to fold Rast from time to time?
Then 8-6 off? No.
Yeah.
I mean,
He's capable of tarnish and real shine.
And you're asking me for, like, whatever. I mean, some of those hands that I'd say that they're not great plus EV poker hands, they're fun to watch. But, like, if you're asking me from, like, quality of play, whatever.
Like, if these dudes were all ETF funds, where are you going to put your retirement nest egg?
Based
it
on
isn't
these
really
5
in that,
days.
The volatility on a Tan Xuan ETF is maybe more than the average investor is prepared for.
If we had a day and I took him to the hypnotherapist and the life coach and this, and I'm like, today you're playing your A poker game, Tan. Yeah, then maybe I'm putting it in there at least for that day.
Well, we're going to put in there a QQ mystery hand, and it's going to belong to Elton Tsang, who has 3-bet Rui Cao's ace-king. Rui decides to under-rep the heck out of this holding by flatting the extra 25,000. He's come up empty on a 3-3-8 board. But some of the money that he may have otherwise spent on a 4-bet can be invested here post-flop in the form of a check call of 30,000. Another 3 on the turn could keep ace-king very curious. Again,
Oh, it will.
Rui checks, and let's see what Elton's got on his mind. It's another barrel.
This is like a mandatory call here with ace-king. I mean, if you... Yeah, you're not folding.
65.
The river is now where it's going to get. I mean, ace and king are super clean outs as well, obviously.
Not available as a 6 of clubs comes off. We've been check called twice on this remarkably dry board texture, and Elton's got to be wondering what's brewing over there. Of course, we don't know what's brewing underneath those 2 question marks. Is it better than ace king?
Does Cobra have a... So the fact that Elton has a squid and Cobra doesn't leads me just a little bit to the... Like, Elton isn't bluffing this hand, kind of, with this. So I'll say, I'm going to go with Elton has, like, queens. Say he's not bluffing.
I don't think he needs queens to fire this.
No. Well, I'm picking a hand.
Yeah, okay.
No.
Yeah,
Like,
that's
what do I
right.
think
You
he
got to
could
pick
have?
one.
I think
But pairs.
he could have an 8.
All right. Did Rui make the call?
Oh, he was bluffing.
Wow. I don't think we thought 9-7 of clubs was under the hood, but Cobra Cow did, and he didn't take a long time to sniff it out. Toji.
对了吧？剩2个了，对。也可能10转投机，我不一定给你投9，那个牌我还有。因为你有10的话，你也可能会扣一下，说不准。
Rui opens to 10,000.
会啊，你有 A 的打得这么重，我还扣住啊！我一般10早就打飞掉了。
10-9 offsuit, responsible holding.
那他其实无所谓，你没选一只是
啊？
你没选一只
我没有谁的选。
对啊，我那天他们还有点怕了，真的把
Tom.
10圈了吧？
Ace-7
你3条10了吧？
climbs aboard
还以为你3条10
and flops top pair up against the gut shot straight draw. And I don't think I need to point out what card in the deck would be explosive. A big, beautiful 7 would give Tan aces up, and
Don't
Rui
think you do.
the 10 high straight. Check call of 10K. Oh my goodness. I promise you, I don't know these things are going to happen. We're watching this live, we're commentating on it live, and somehow a made-for-TV movie breaks out here, courtesy of the 7 of Hearts. Second check from Tan, thinking this is a great card for him, and yet here he is, facing the second barrel of 28,000 from the nuts.
Yeah, and now the check call on the flop where Tan is like, maybe I have the best hand, maybe I don't, just call. But now on the turn, he can feel a lot more confident with aces up, but he doesn't have the best hand. So now, let's see the river. I think if Roy Cal bets small enough, Tan probably check raises him, but I don't think Roy Cal is going to bet small.
75,000, and Tan just flats. Never got himself in trouble, Raston. I'm a little bit surprised. Maybe on the turn, Tan announces himself with a check raise.
Yeah.
Aces up.
Tan also snapped the river. Would have called a bigger bet than that.